In the next episode of Fathers Who Bother, we speak with Bronx MC Mickey Factz about raising his newborn son, why he originally wanted a daughter, and the one thing he does for his son every single day. Check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next episode of Fathers Who Bother. I'm your host, Jerry Barrow, and today I'm joined by one of Bronx's finest, one of the illest MCs I've ever met in my life, Mickey Factz, who is also a new father. And we're going to talk about his journey and his experiences, having fun with his new baby and all that good stuff. Welcome, Mickey.
Smicky, what's going on, man?
How you doing? How are you guys making out with all this sheltering in place?
It's been good. I was already planning to stay home for 3 months. So I didn't book any shows. My first show was actually supposed to be April 19th. We had my wife had the baby on January 26th. So I was planning on staying home to help her as long as I could until that show that I had in Virginia Beach. And then we were planning to move also to Miami. So I was going to be pretty much kind of home anyway. The lockdown kind of, forced me to kind of already reinforce what was going to happen regardless. And it's been incredible, just being home with my family, spending time with my son, who is incredible. And, same with my wife, we've just kind of, learned to grow with him. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night. Sometimes I just kind of just stare at them sleeping, and it's just like, wow, there's actually a baby in the house. This is ridiculous. I didn't expect that. You know what I'm saying?
It's quite a thing when you realize that there's a whole other life in your presence. One of my good friends, Mr. Mecca, used to always joke when he saw my son for the first time. He was like, "Oh my God, you baked a human." When did you first learn that you were going to be a dad?
I first learned that I was going to be a dad, I want to say it was last year around this time. It was in May. I definitely remember that much. And I had to go. I had a show in DC. I had a show I actually had two shows. I had a Philly show and I had a DC show. And it was actually not exactly 1 year ago, but it was almost close to exactly 1 year ago. And, before I left to go, my wife left, a note because she went to sleep, I guess, late. And I woke up early to get on the bus to go to Philly. And I saw the letter that she wrote and the pregnancy test. And I just kind of sat in the bathroom in the dark for about I don't even think I told my wife this. I kind of just sat in the bathroom in the dark for like an hour. Wow. I was just like sitting down, just like, because we didn't know like if she was pregnant or not. We just kind of had a thought that she might be, but we didn't know. So when we saw it, when I saw it, I just was kind of like, I almost missed my bus because I was kind of like in the bathroom on the floor, just kind of like, wow, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I gathered myself together. I prayed. And I gathered myself together and I headed out. But that was a very crazy time.
For real. Who do you remember who you told first?
The first person I told, I think the first person I told may have been my parents. Okay. And I think we waited. I think we waited to tell my parents.
Mm-hmm.
I think she told her parents first.
Right.
I think she told her mom first.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it took me like maybe 3 weeks, maybe a month. I'm not sure on the date. I'm usually good with dates and stuff like that, but I remember sitting down with my parents and letting them know my father just going crazy, and he literally went ballistic. My mom was excited, but my father just literally went ballistic. And we didn't know the gender at that point, so we just I just let them know, like, yeah, we're having this baby.
So, did you guys find out the gender ahead of time, or did you wait to be surprised?
We found out the gender ahead of time. We found out the gender I think at 4 months. So she was, I think, was January. If we backtrack, she was 4 months, I guess, in August,
Hmm.
because so it's March, April, May, June, July, August. So maybe July, maybe August. Around July, August, we found out the gender, and it was a boy. And I wanted a girl. She wanted
Mm,
she wanted a boy, and I wanted a girl. And I spoke about that on my song "Motivated."
okay.
And the reason why I wanted a girl, because for a long time I wanted a boy,
Mm,
and the reason why my mind shifted, she started sending me baby pictures of herself,
mm,
and I was looking. I was like, you know what? This is gonna be we'll have a pretty girl.
true.
So I want a girl. Could you imagine all this hair on this girl? Like that's the first thing that just kept running through my mind. This girl, this girl, this girl, this girl, this girl, this girl. And then it was a boy.
Hmm.
I wasn't disappointed at all.
Right.
I was more so like, wow. So we're gonna have a boy. Like you know what I'm saying? It was like I was cool with whatever. Um, but obviously, I was opening up to the fact of having a girl. And I was
Mm,
like, if it won't, like, a lot of guys think, oh, if you have a girl, it's the worst thing in the world. Nah, I was kind of excited for it. I opened up to that notion that we might have one. But when we were told that we were having a boy, it was like, oh, well, the legacy continues. So that's exciting.
I could tell you, I have a boy and a girl, and we decided for our son, we decided to wait. We didn't know what we were having until he was born. But for our daughter, we wanted to find out because it was like a 6 year gap between them. We're like, what, we're gonna find. We just needed to know if we could keep his stuff or if we had to get new stuff. uh, but girls are awesome. I love both my kids, but the daddy daughter thing is real. My
I hear
daughter
I hear
is
about
my
that.
yeah. It's real. I would definitely, you know, if you guys are having any more, push for the girl because girls are amazing. So I don't blame you for wanting one. I remember back in 2016, you mentioned another song. I remember on the title track to the Achievement, you said, "Now I'm 34 and got a wife to love and kids to feed. When we decide on mini me's, I live and breathe for my children's needs." And you didn't have any kids yet.
Yeah.
How did you have such a clear grasp of fatherhood and parenting before even having kids?
That's an incredible question. I kind of was talking to my future self, saying, I live and breathe for my children's needs, planting seeds. I think it was also a metaphor. It was planting seeds for this world for bigger trees or something like that. So like bigger trees and also bigotry.
Nice.
I always wanted to be married and I always wanted to have children, but I did not want to have a child out of wedlock. So in my mindset, I kind of already knew what kind of father I would be, what kind of husband I would be. So when it came to him, it was just like I already had these kind of pre-programmed, preconceived notions of who I was going to be as a dad, and I'm kind of living up to it. I'm stepping up to the plate in ways that I didn't think I would be able to.
Like what? Like what ways?
I feel like right now I do my best to, because my wife is taking on a brunt of the work in terms of feeding and nursing. I try my best to give her some type of rest and some
Mm,
type of break, even
that's
though
important. Yep.
even though I'm she doesn't cook. If she does cook, it's once a week. I try my best to cook most of the time. I try my when she's always like, "You want me to do the dishes?" I'm like, "No, I'll do the dishes." Like I'll do that. Because we made that decision to have a breastfeeding family, and so it's more so like, okay, if I can't nurse him, if I can't feed him,
Mm-hmm.
then I need to do everything else, and I have no issues with doing everything else. And there are times when I have him so she can do what she has to do, and I enjoy my time with him. I try to engage him as much as I can while working at the same time. It's a little difficult, but I'm maintaining it, and I definitely try to read to him. We got some hip hop books. I want to order some more scientific books for him. I just there's just so much that goes into a person growing up and getting older. So I try to be conscious of the things that I do around him, and say to him. But it was, I guess, intuition. I guess it's father intuition. That's the only thing I could really.
No question. What have you learned about him as a person that surprised you the most?
Uh he's he likes to laugh. He likes to play, man. Like, I do my best to make that boy smile and make him laugh all the time. I do these silly voices with him. I do these silly faces with him. I like to, my wife is always warning me. I just fed him, so he's gonna spit up. And I'm like, yeah, he don't really spit up on daddy. 5 minutes later, I'm getting spit up on. I'm ready. I'm ready. A lot of people have been telling me, listen, enjoy this time, because once they start crawling, once they start walking, once they start running, they're gonna wear you out. And once they start talking, and I'm just like, I'm dying for that. Like, I want to hear him talk. I at least formulate words. I want to see him, standing up. I want to see him crawling. I want to see him walking. I want to see these faces. I feel like I think the time between, like, I guess 8 months and maybe uh 8 and 16 months, that's the time I'm like really looking forward to. I mean, we're not getting my wife is not getting any sleep, so
Mm.
I can't wait till she starts to sleep. I can't wait till he's in our bed right now, so like we I'm she's not getting any sleep. Basically, I'm getting a little bit of sleep because I'm going to bed late, but I'm waking up early so I can cook, and I can do my trillers, daily trillers, and I can write some rhymes during the day, and do business during the day on social media. Like, so it's a fun time. But he's incredible, man. Just looking at him is just like, that I can do this. I can get everything done that needs to get done.
Had you changed a diaper before him, or was he your first diaper change?
I have changed the diaper before him. As black people, we are subjected to diaper changing with cousins,
Mm.
nieces, nephews, when they have babies or whatnot. So, like, I have a niece and a nephew, so I was changing diapers for the past 5, 6 years. I
Yeah.
changed his first diaper. Actually, I changed his first diaper. And,
Yeah.
yeah, and I actually have, and this is something that, for the people that are listening, um, this is something that I chose to do on my own. I didn't speak to my wife about this at all, but I chose to keep a diary of his life. So I write something that happened either to me or to him every single day.
Mm.
Every day, whether it's a picture or a video. I have a journal. For the past 4 months, I've written something about him. So when
That's so
he's
dope.
so when he gets older, he'll be able to kind of read his whole entire life. Could you imagine reading your life from the time you were born, like,
Ugh.
and like at like 18 years old, like, here's your 18th birthday, here's your gift, and you have this diary of your life, because when you read biographies, you don't know anything from 0 to 5.
Right,
And I
right.
was like, man, I want to be able to kind of write out his life from my eyes, at least. I don't know what he's thinking, obviously, but from my perspective, he'll be able to kind of see what was happening, especially during this pandemic.
He's gonna appreciate that so much. You have no idea how much he's gonna appreciate that. to see that.
Yeah.
That's such an awesome thing.
Yeah.
Um, did you have any moments when you felt like you were out of your depth? Because a lot of new dads feel like, yo, I wasn't prepared for this. You know, you sound like you were more prepared, but was there any moment where you felt like, whoa, I need help?
Uh I mean, yeah, I mean there was only there was a period, there was a time period where I felt like I wasn't ready. And that was only because, I'm a planner. And even when it comes to my music, like I just take forever because I want to plan it and make sure it's right. So, this was out of my plans. I wanted us to, the one thing that I got right, I feel, is we waited till we got married before we had our child. We waited 4 years, and
Mm,
that's good. So me and my wife got a chance to enjoy ourselves for 3 to 4 years. But I wanted to buy a home first. I wanted us
mm,
to be in a home first, and being cramped in New York City, we have a very small apartment, and
right.
I really wanted us to have a home so we would be able to raise this kid in a home. And, it was going to be in Miami. It's something that's still on the docket. It's just going to take a little bit longer now, especially with the pandemic. But that's the only thing. Aside from that, hurdle, I was ready. I wasn't, I feel like there's no such thing as saving $1 million, and there's no such thing as that. Like that doesn't exist in my mind. Being ready financially for a kid. Like you just go with the flow. But I did want to have a home. That was the only
Yeah.
thing that I wanted.
That was the same thing. When my wife was pregnant with our son in 2002, I had just started working at the Source, and we closed on our house that spring. He was born in December of '02. We closed on the house in the spring, and let me tell you, when we had $100 in the bank after that closing, like we got this house by the hairs of our chinny chin chin,
Mm,
because we had been living in Brooklyn on Flatbush Avenue, and we were like, same thing you were thinking, like it's really cramped in here. People are wilding. We need to get out of.
right, right,
We need to have a place where they can get, because apartment living for a kid is hard, because especially when they start walking, running around and stuff. You want them to have space. So I totally get it. Um, but yeah, I understand that completely.
right,
You find a way, but like you said, you find a way. Nothing's going to be 100% ready. You just find a way. The kids have a way of motivating you.
yes, they do.
So, what was your relationship like with your father?
Wow. So me and my dad, uh, my father worked nights, so me and my dad did not have the relationship that I really wanted to have with him.
Hmm.
So from I would say he worked for the post office. So he would sleep from 8 to 10, and then he would leave from 11 to 7. He would leave for work from 11 to 7 and get home at around, I guess, 8 o'clock. So I wouldn't see him basically. I did not see my father a lot. What I learned from him was, good credit, working, taking care of your family. That's something that is instilled in me to this day. Like no matter what, you have to do what you got to do. So that work ethic is instilled in me. But I wanted a relationship with him from the time that I was cognizant of him being in my life up until I was a teenager when I really needed my dad. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So when I was in school, I would come home at like 3:30, and then from like I guess 3:30, 4 o'clock till about 8, that was homework time, and I would either go outside or I would want to play basketball with my father, but he wouldn't, he wouldn't be able to do that. But he took care of us as a father. Then he left the home for a little while,
Hmm.
from like 2006, just when I was starting my music career, to about 2000, right before me and my wife got married, 2015. So, me and him were off for about a good, I want to say 7, 8 years. And
Hmm.
when me and my wife were dating and getting ready to get married, I sat my father down and we had a very long talk. And, I talked to him about everything under the sun. I had about 40 to 50 questions for him. I asked him everything that I ever wanted to ask him. He answered everything as truthfully as possible. And ever since then, he has been one of my best friends.
That's
And
dope.
he's been great ever since. And I think, when you're young, you just kind of you want your dad, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And you want to be able to, engage with him. And, it didn't happen for me, but I'm super grateful for him now. I understand why he was doing what he was doing. I had to kind of take myself out of my shoes and place myself in his shoes as a black man in the 80s and in the 90s,
yeah.
doing everything on his own, having the knowledge that he had, trying to take care of a family as, a black man. So like I kind of got it and I understood it. And that was why we were able to kind of reconcile our relationship.
That's fantastic. Have I know with the pandemic, seeing parents and older people has been harder, but has he had a chance to meet his grandson yet, or has it been virtual so far?
Yeah, he sees him twice a week. I make sure to have my son see my father twice a week. We're actually going up to see him and my mom this weekend because my father still works in the city,
Okay.
but they live upstate. So we'll be able to. My mom is going to be able to see uh, my son finally after like 2 months. She was there when he was born, and she came to our apartment a couple times, but she hasn't really seen him in like 2 months. So we're going to spend Memorial Day weekend with my parents and kind of get a sense of that love that they want to be able to participate in. But yeah, my dad has seen him at least once or twice a week.
That's dope. I know he's ecstatic.
Oh yeah.
Were there have there been any moments yet where you've heard your own father's voice coming out of your mouth talking to your son? Because I've had those moments with my kid.
My son turns 4 months, I think, in 4 days on Monday.
Right.
So, he's very young. But the only thing that I do, I don't feel like my father's voice has came out of me yet. But I have been kind of planting the seeds, like doing this. Hey, I do that, like so he could so he could kind of know I'm around, you know what I'm saying? And every
Right.
time I
Right.
do that, and around. Like I want him to know that voice. Like that's the voice I'm here and I ain't playing no games with you. You know what I'm saying? So like and even when I just said it now, my wife laughed. It was like he looked up and he stopped whatever he was doing and he looked up. I'm in the other room. So, that's the only thing so far from my dad's voice in terms of speaking to my son right now. Because he can't really understand anything I'm saying to him.
And what about your voice? Because I know I had the headphones up to my wife's belly trying to steer his music choices. It didn't work. But were you playing him Mickey Factz music in the womb?
No, I think my wife played him music of mine in the womb.
Uh-huh.
I I didn't buy into that stuff, and I think,
Okay.
that was a challenging time for me and my wife. I wasn't really engaging in terms of the belly, me and the belly, you know,
Really?
yeah, like I would touch the belly, but I wasn't really talking. I sometimes I would like in a joking manner, and he would kick every time I would talk when I did
Uh-huh.
talk, but it wasn't what it is now. Like I'm way more engaged with him than I was with when he was in the belly. I just
Were you
didn't.
scared? Were you scared?
It wasn't like I was scared. It was more so like it's like I want to see him. Like I didn't. I just didn't. And I do believe that if you talk to the baby, I do believe it. But it wasn't. It just still, even still, it was just like nah. Like no, I couldn't get into that. It was challenging for me and my wife because she wanted me to do it, and it's like I want to see him. Like I'm ready to meet him. Like I want to be able to hold him and talk to him and play with him and get crazy with him. And I can't really do that talking to a belly button. Like, that was just me. Like, I felt bad. I felt bad while it was happening, but I just couldn't. It was just one of those things. It was like, nah, dog. Like, I can't do that. You know what I mean?
He was like a Christmas present you couldn't open yet. You see the box,
Exactly.
you can look at, you know what's inside, but you can't open it yet, and you're just like, ah.
Right. And she did. What she did let me know was whenever I was talking,
Mm-hmm.
he would kick, and he would put his fist, I guess, or his hand, or his foot to the belly. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like that was something that was happening, but I wasn't that guy that was, talking to the baby. That wasn't something that I was trying to do.
Were you in the delivery room?
I was in the delivery room. Yes, I was.
Nice. What was that? How did that feel? Because I know I remember I had a long sweater, had those thick sweaters,
Mm-hmm.
a turtleneck because my son was born in December,
Mm-hmm.
and I just remember my wife clinging to my arm, and me being so thankful for that sweater because when she pulled, she got
Oh my
all
gosh!
skin.
Wow.
So I was thankful for that sweater. What was going through your mind in the delivery room?
My wife. Well, we didn't go to a hospital.
Okay,
We were at a birthing center.
got you. Okay,
So our plan was to have the baby. I have a water birth. Yeah, I had seen some water births where the babies swim
right.
after they come out. They just swim to the top, and I was like, oh, that's hot. And they look like Michael Phelps coming out the womb. You know what I'm saying?
Looking like a Nirvana cover.
Literally a Nirvana kind of cover. So I was like, when I brought it up to her and she brought it up to me, we were like, okay, this is something that we both agreed that we should probably do. And bless you. And I was like, okay, I'm with it. Let's see what happens. And being in the room was it was, first of all, she's a superwoman. I tell her this. She didn't have any anesthesia. She didn't have
Ooh.
she didn't have an epidural.
Ooh.
She was I don't know what to call her.
She's an Avenger, bruh.
Yeah, she
She's Captain Marvel.
she is she's she is Captain Marvel. I don't know how she did that. To this day, it was unlike anything I've ever seen in my entire life. In terms of the labor, the labor was unbelievable to witness. And the actual birth was quick. She kind of just blew through it.
Wow.
She labored all through the night, and I burst into. I was emotional. I don't think I've ever cried like that ever. I mean, I think I have, but not as a grown man. Like I was
Right.
like, I was like, I was like, I couldn't even be consoled. That's how, because seeing him, it was like, because that's what I was waiting for. And I think that was another thing why I didn't talk to him while he was in the stomach. I felt like I was preparing myself to just let it all out when I actually saw him, and he was actually healthy, and he had all his fingers and his toes and his hair and his heart and his eyes and his nose. So I was just waiting, and when I saw him fully out, it was like a purge. Like it was snot coming out my mouth. It was drool coming out snot coming out my nose and drool coming out my mouth and water. It was like somebody turned the faucet on. It was bad, and I loved every minute of it, and it was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I see you guys have been having a lot of fun on Instagram. What's been like that, making the songs and having him there, and because some people, they're like the last thing they want to do is be on the gram with their 4-month-old, but you are taking right to it.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been, I love him, man. Like, and I want to be able to just engage with him. So I've been doing these trillers, and sometimes I involve him, and sometimes I don't. Most times I don't. But when I'm watching him and I haven't done one for the day, and it's late, I do one with him. And he's he he doesn't show, like when we do the Trillers, because he doesn't like the camera. It seems like he's just
Mm.
always looking at the camera, like, nigga, why you got this camera on me? But like, but when me and him, it's just me and him. He's always smiling. He's always laughing. He's always having a good time. So I always try to capture that with the Trillers, and it never happens, like, ever. And it's just I kind of, and that kind of uh lets me know, like, our time is our time, and what we show the world is just like what artists do. Artists front, and he front for the camera. He get his ice grill on,
I
and
noticed. I peeped that on one of them.
he get his ice grill on. You know, I be rapping and he be looking at me like, nah, this ain't hot pop. You know what I'm saying? And we just make it happen. But then when me and him talk and me and him have fun, he's giggling, he's laughing, because it's not that third party, which is the phone, is not involved. So, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, I enjoy involving him, in my social media life. So does my wife. We're not gonna we're gonna stay private in terms of certain things, but in terms of just hip hop and music and certain pictures, yeah, why not share it? Let the world see this beautiful creation that we created. I mean, at some point, he's gonna have social media, and he's gonna, or whatever it might be in the future. So he's gonna be doing the same thing. So I might as well, get him started.
How have you recorded any songs since he's been born that are about him or about being a parent?
Um, yeah, I did that. I did a song. I did a feature for someone, and I spit like 4 bars about him, maybe 8. I don't remember, but I haven't done any. I haven't done any dedication songs to him yet. I am working on something special for him though. I'm just sitting back and working on different projects and collecting the right sound bed to express how I feel when it comes to him. I just being a dad and a husband has matured me in so many different ways. And one of those things, which is going to lead to the answer to your question, is life insurance, right? So I applied for life insurance after, I'm 37 years old. So I applied at 37 years old, finally got life insurance to make sure that my family is secure if anything, God forbid, happens to me. So
Right.
I don't want to put my wife through no GoFundMe kind of situation. And that's no knock to anybody that's doing GoFundMe. I just want it to be, I don't want to go through that route. So in doing that, I was like, man, this is something that is necessary for my family. And I also was afraid of 2 other things, that, my son would not see this diary that I'm creating for him.
Mm.
And also, in the event that he doesn't see this diary that I created for him, I want to create an audio diary for him. And,
Mm.
and that's the best way that I know how to do it, is through music. So
Right.
I'm waiting, because there is a project that I'm working on that is specifically for him. Um, and it's not just for him, but it's also for all Black boys, all Black girls that are growing up. And I want to make it universal. So I'm talking to him, but I'm talking to all of the kids that are coming up during this time. And I want it to be like a living audio audio living will and testament for him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Telling him about my life, telling him about the things that he needs to look out for, all encompassed into one project. So that's something that I'm working on currently right now. Yeah.
So even though you have 4 great months of experience, do you have any advice for new fathers?
Um, my advice for new fathers would be like exactly what I'm doing right now currently. Write everything down. Write a diary for your child. Let them know what they lived like from 0 to 5, 0 to 6, 0 to 18, whenever you want to stop it. That's one. Two, give your significant other, whether it be a wife, girlfriend, fiance, your separated baby mother, whatever, give her as much time, patience, and space, and comfort and love as you possibly can, because they go through something that us men will never understand and comprehend.
Right.
Um, Also, appreciate every moment that you're with your child. Tell them you love them, read to them, love them. And the best time to kind of and when they sleep, you sleep. Make sure when they sleep, you sleep, man. And just
Facts.
and take time to just stare at them and just love them, man. Like it's I watched my niece and my nephew, and when we were done watching them, it was like, okay, take these kids. I'm done. But with my son, like it's just like I do hand him off to my wife sometimes, but I also like taking him back sometimes. And when I was done with my niece and nephew, it was like, all right, y'all could take them. That's enough. I'm over it. But with my son, it's like I might give him when he's fussy to my wife, but when he's done being fussy, I want to take him back because that's my guy and I love him. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, man. Yo, Mickey, this has been great, man. Also, can we get a plug? I know you were talking about Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
Can we get a quick plug on the status of that?
Yeah. So Mickey Mouse it's it's written. The first draft of it is written,
Okay.
and I played it for some people via voice notes, and they said it was phenomenal. But there are some things that I need to kind of change and shift around in terms of culture and in terms of blackness.
Hmm.
Uh, so there's going to be some shifting on that currently. So I'm working. I'm rewriting some things. This is very small writings. It's not like a big thing. Um, but there is a release date for it. I have a release date for March 21st. No, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
March 26th, 2021.
Okay.
Because I have to produce it, I have to record it, I have to get very crazy with it. But it is extremely expansive. It is extremely extensive. It is extremely informative, and it's unlike anything that's out in hip hop right now. That's something that I can honestly and truly say without it sounding like I'm tooting my own horn, because when you consider what hip hop is now, even when it comes to rap and when it comes to underground hip hop, nobody's doing full blown concept albums that have a congruent storyline, and you have to stay within the confines of the storyline while also quote unquote predicting the future. So like I'm within these guidelines, and there's nobody in hip hop that's doing this. Not one person. And I feel like when I look at my contemporaries and I look at my peers and I see what they're doing, I appreciate everything that they're doing. And I sometimes, well, I used to compare myself to them. And I was like, man, I'm not where these guys are. I'm not where this person is. I'm not where that person is. But then when I was working on this project, I was like, I'm creating something that these guys haven't done and most likely won't do, because it is a lot of work. And that is my legacy. That is my foundation. That is something that I cannot wait to share with the world. This project is, like the first one, it is my second magnum opus that I'm leaving to the people, man. And I really can't wait to see the reviews. I really can't wait to see the reaction to this, because 8 years later, I still get 5 to 10 tweets, Instagram, DMs, likes, and comments and Facebook messages and posts about Mickey Mouse. People love this project, and I want to make sure that I uphold that standard of quality and reassurance with this particular project. So yes, it is. It took the pandemic, sadly, for me to kind of dive into this character, but I promise this is unlike anything anybody has heard in terms of hip hop and music. You know.
So do you find that your scope or mentality as an artist has been shifted at all now that you're a father?
Um, that is a very good question. I've been a little nervous, working on the project I was telling you about before,
Right.
and I haven't. I have a lot of production for that project and for my next album. And I've just kind of been waiting. Like I'm just like waiting for the right time to just kind of let everything out. Because not only is my diary for my son, for him, but it's also for me. It's also for me to look back and see what I was feeling on specific days so I can pull from that to create the music that I want to create. Um, so, you know, I'm just kind of waiting. I think when the time is right, I will be able to kind of speak, you know, verbally how I feel about everything that's going on, what we're dealing with as a society, and what I'm dealing with as a father to my son. He's, you know, him and my wife, they're my best friends. You know, I talk to her every day. I talk to him every day. You know, so like they, you know, I'm just waiting for that spark of inspiration to be like, okay, now I'm ready to go. You know, and I'm ready to kind of put this together because people have, you know, people are enjoying these trillers. They're like, Mickey just has an abundance of music, but you know, as of late, like over the past like 10 days, I've been getting a lot of messages saying, where's the next project? Like people are like, they're asking now. Before it would be like, you know, I love this. I love what you're doing. I love the skills. But now people are like, yo, where's the project? Where's the next project?
Right.
And now it's like, okay, people want it. So now let me kind of get into that mode of let me give the people exactly what they're looking for because I can do it. It's just I'm just waiting for that right moment. But Mouse 2 is it's something special. I don't want to obviously I don't want to because there's some things that I'm touching on in there that again hip hop artists are not talking about, and I think that is essential and it's key. And then at my skill set level, it's just like it's mind blowing, bro.
Oh man, you know, I can't wait, and I know the audience can't wait. And I know you've got a wonderful family who's waiting for you to come back to them. So I want to thank you for taking the time to share your journey as a new dad. My Our best wishes to your wife and your beautiful son, and we'll be seeing you on the gram.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely.
And looking out for these next projects, man. Mickey, thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. Thank you guys for allowing me to share my story as a dad, as an artist, as a husband with you guys, man. It's really appreciative. And thank you, man. It's a beautiful journey.